Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. President Muhammadu Buhari has made a strong representation to the Federation of International Football Association FIFA to see Nigeria as one of its greatest assets in the development of football. FIFA, he also says, should consider Nigeria topmost on its plans for support and investment. This was while receiving the president of the World Football Governing Body, Giovanni Infantino, on a courtesy visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
Accompanied to the State House by CAF President Patrice Motsepe, President Nigeria Football Federation Amaju Pinnick, and Sports Minister Sunday Dare, the FIFA President Gianni Infantino presented a branded football case, FIFA banner, and jersey number 10 to President Muhammadu Buhari. This is in appreciation of his genuine commitment to the development of sports, especially football in Nigeria.
President, humbly, I thank you for everything you are doing for football in this beautiful country. We need Nigeria to lead the football movement in the world. We are now debating in world football how we can increase the participation and the frequency of world competitions to have Nigeria, both the Super Falcons and the Super Eagles, playing at the highest stage against the best teams more frequently, because only if we play against the best, you can show them that you are better.
When Nigeria wins, when the Super Eagles wins, they don't only give pride to the hundreds of millions of people in Nigeria. They represent the more than 1.3 billion people on the African continent. They've made us proud, and they have the potential to win the World Cup.
President Muhammadu Buhari described football as a major tool of national unity, saying the hearts of Nigerians beat as one anytime the national teams are playing a football match.
As a government, we have also shown a great deal of commitment to the game, not only by funding, hosting, and participating in international competition, but in creation of a conducive environment for its growth and development. Nigeria has also keyed into the global norm of football as a major business. Our recent reclassification of sports as business instead of just recreation opens up a new vista for more private investment.
He said apart from adopting football as a national asset, his administration has also approved the unveiling of a committee to draw up a 10-year football development master plan aimed at improving the fortunes of the game internationally.
The government is equally focused on using football to the development of the girl child. The Aisha Buhari International Football Tournament, which just started, could not have come at a better time. This women's football competition is a noble idea here, and I'm sure exciting in its execution for our women folk and lovers of football.
We thank FIFA for approving this competition as a ranking competition and believe it will go a long way to help in developing the women football, not just in Nigeria and Africa, but in the entire world.
The Aisha Buhari International Invitational Football Tournament, for which the FIFA delegation is in Nigeria, has as its theme, Playing for Good. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the First Lady of Nigeria is optimistic that the Aisha Buhari Invitational Women Football Tournament, currently taking place in Lagos, will serve as a tool for promoting women empowerment, particularly in football and other sporting activities. This came to light when the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, paid a courtesy call on the First Lady in Abuja at the sideline of the Women Football Tournament organized by her foundation in collaboration with the Nigerian Football Federation. Details of this report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletins. Now, for more sporting stories, let's join our sports desk.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino said major matches will come to Nigeria following renovation work on stadiums across the country. Infantino stated this when he inspected the renovation pitch of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja.
It's not just about Nigerian football, it's also not just about African football, it's about global football. So we are working together to see what kind of new opportunities, new competitions, new events we can bring for men and women to fill this stadium and to make the heart of the stadium beat for a fantastic spectacle that all of Nigeria loves, which is football.
Still on football analysts have commended the Super Falcons for their impressive performance of the opening games of the Aisha Buhari Cup, where Nigeria defeated Mali 2-0. The analysts call for improvement from the three-times African champions ahead of their next match against South Africa on Monday next week.
Going forward, it's going to be difficult, no doubt about it, but we expect the Super Falcons to actually do well when they play against South Africa. They should go back to the drawing board and ensure that they do what is necessary. More young players is being needed into the mix so that they can actually get the needed result against South Africa.
But looking towards the next match against South Africa is going to be quite interesting, especially the lessons have been learned from the first match, and I see the possibility of them working on those great areas in the second match and looking at consolidating on their first victory and to ensure that they top the group at the end of the day.
To basketball, Nigerian women's senior national basketball team, the Tigresses, will commence their FIBA Afro Basketball Championship defense against Mozambique on Saturday 15 before taking on Angola Monday next week. 13 players and officials arrive via Yaoundé, Cameroon Wednesday. For sports update, Oche Ngbedi, NTA News.
And away from sports, leaders of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, meet in Accra, Ghana, in a summit on the political situation in Guinea and Mali. Uche Ugochukwu reports that Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is representing President Muhammadu Buhari at the summit.
The Economic Community of West African States had already suspended Guinea from the organization following the military takeover of the government. This summit, therefore, is to receive, analyze and take decision on the report of the delegation sent to discuss with the military junta in Conakry. They will also decide how to pressure the junta leaders to return the country to a constitutional rule.
We are required to take informed decisions on these matters. I count on you, Excellencies, to help proffer durable solutions to the crisis. And I'm confident that, as in the past, we will rise to the occasion.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, representing President Muhammadu Buhari, led Nigeria's delegation to the meeting. Nigeria had already condemned the coup and called on the ECOWAS and the African Union to take measured steps that will block toppling of democratically elected leaders on the continent.
We will receive also a report from the mediator of the Malian crisis, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on developments in Mali.
The military rulers are not invited for the Accra summit. They are, in the meantime, consulting with political, religious, and business leaders towards the formation of a transitional government. The coup leader, Colonel Mamadi Dambuya, urged the civil society groups not to repeat the errors of the past when building a new system of governance. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has urged the Federal Ministry of Health and related agencies to step up efforts in arresting the spread of cholera in parts of the country. In response to a motion raised by Representative Abubakar Baki, the House expressed concern on the death toll recorded since the outbreak of cholera in Jigawa and other states in the country. The lawmakers stressed that in view of devastating effects of the health challenge on communities, there is need for coordinated efforts, especially in rural areas. Meanwhile, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila has urged journalists to desist from what he described as yellow and uninspiring journalism, which thrives on mischief. The Speaker was reacting to reports from some media who quoted him out of context in his welcome address from recess to House members delivered at plenary Wednesday. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdul Rashid Bawa, is hale and hearty. This clarification became necessary following an incident today, September 16, 2021, at the presidential villa, Abuja, where he was giving a goodwill message to the National Identity Day celebration. He felt unwell and had to return to his seat. A statement by the head of media and publicity says the chairman has since received medical attention and is back at his desk. Nigerian Army commanders at all levels have been charged to be proactive henceforth to avoid breach of security in their areas of responsibility. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, gave the directive at the conclusion of the combined 2021 second and third quarter conference in Abuja.
I want to remind formation and unit commanders on the need to ensure adequate security of their bases, barracks, and cantonment. Commanders will be held responsible for any security breach. The importance of leadership cannot be overemphasized, especially in the military.
The Army Chief also harped on synergy with other security agencies and enjoined commanders to be selfless and ensure effective utilization of resources within their domains.
We must continue to cooperate and work in synergy with our sister services, other security agencies, and stakeholders while developing novel processes, strategies, and tactics to overwhelm the enemy using both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches. Commanders must be proactive in the conduct of their operations. You must take the fight to the identified and known enclave of the terrorists and criminals to neutralize them.
The event provided an avenue for the assessment of the Nigerian Army's operations within the period under review for future projections in the quest to secure the country. In the meantime, the Nigerian Air Force has commenced investigations into airstrikes which were said to have harmed civilians in Buhari village, Yunusari, Yobe State. The incident occurred during an air mission against terrorists in the region on the 15th of September 2021. Confirming the commencement of investigations in a press release, NAV Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gapquet, gave the NAV's assurance of full investigations, also reiterating its commitment to ensuring the safety of lives and property. News of the incident first broke on social media, followed by a press release by Yobe State government commiserating with the injured and promising to cooperate with security forces to unravel what really happened. Meanwhile, Yobe State's Governor Maimala Buni commiserates with the families of those who lost their lives in the unfortunate airstrike on Buhari village in Yunusari local government area of the state. In a statement, the governor noted that although it could have been an accident or mistaken target, but the government will join hands with security agencies to unravel the root cause of the incident. The statement adds that the governor has directed his special advisor on security affairs to liaise with the Nigerian Air Force and the multinational joint task force to look into the unfortunate airstrike to guard against future occurrence. Meanwhile, the governor has directed government hospitals in Gaidam and Damaturu to offer free medical services to those who sustained injuries from the airstrike. Similarly, the State Emergency Management Agency has been informed to provide relief materials to cater to the immediate needs of the families of the deceased persons and other members of the community. Still on security matters, suspected killers of Abdul Karim Bala Ibn Na'Allah, eldest son of Senator Bala Ibn Na'Allah of Kebbi South Senatorial Zone, have been arrested by the Kaduna State Police Command. The police have also neutralized a suspected kidnapper among those who barricaded the Abuja-Kaduna Highway Thursday for an early morning attack. Haruna Mohammed reports.
Two prime suspects involved in the murder of Captain Abdul Karim Bala Ibn Na'Allah are among those arrested by the police. The mastermind and late Abdul Karim's neighbor Usman Ankano, popularly known as Ankano, is at large.
The suspects have confessed to have carried out the offense and further stated that the vehicle have been sold in Niger Republic at the rate of 1 million naira.
In a similar vein, the police, reacting to distress call, dispatched operatives of Operation Puff Ada to Kasamari village along Abuja-Kaduna Highway, where they neutralized one of the suspected kidnappers. The suspects, in their numbers, had attacked motorists at the early hours of Thursday, killing a commercial bus driver and his conductor. 41-year-old Usman Abakar from Zamfara State, an active partaker in the Bethel Catholic School kidnap, College of Forestry, and Greenfield University, has also been arrested. The police urged members of the public to report suspicious movement or characters to the security operatives for prompt action. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Time to join Kende in Lagos for some reports. Hello, Kende. Okay, I'm afraid we couldn't link up with Kende there. Let's go on. Now, the stories of ex-convicts who maintain they did undeserved time behind bars and a renewed move to bring succor to awaiting trials inmates from the cross of visits by controller of the Federal Capital Territory Correctional Service, Abdurrahman Meyaki, to the Suleja Custodial Center. Abdullah Suleiman Yaji reports.
On the heels of recent attack on the Kaba Custodial Center in Kogi State is this shuttle visit by the FCT controller of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Abdurrahman Meyaki, and his team, with stops at the Kuje and Dukpa custodial facilities, which climaxed in Suleja Custodial Center to heighten internal security measures and ensure inmates are in high spirits to forestall any threat.
We are engaging them here to ensure internal security and peace of the facility. And when this is achieved, you will see that the tension in the facility will go down.
Interestingly, these ex-convicts, now referred to by the service as returned citizens, were on hand to uplift and inspire other inmates.
I did 14 years in prison as an awaiting trial for offense I never knew anything about.
Give us a detail about
Though at the end I was discharged and acquitted, but then my 14 years has been wasted already behind the bar.
It's not for the grace of God. What brought me here, I never do that, but that's by the way. Prison never mad me, but prison has been able to reshape my life, gave me a new step. That I speak today. Today I'm a media practitioner.
So it is time to be very, very flexible about our bail conditions. It is not every offense that a man should find himself in prison.
National Prison Administration records indicate a total population of inmates, including pre-trial detainees and remand prisoners in the 240 establishments across the country, is 67,631, of which over 50,000 inmates are awaiting trial. In Suleja, Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
Few months from now, Nigerians will start enjoying the full benefits of 5G technology services as the implementation of the national policy on 5G technology is with immediate effect. This was made known by the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, on Good Morning Nigeria. Thomas Obetere has details.
Plan to introduce 5G technology into the country since 2019 by the federal government was no doubt slowed down as a result of the conspiracy theories and misconceptions from some quarters. However, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy and other guests on the program noted that Nigeria and Nigerians will benefit a lot from the 5G technology without any negative effects, as the quality of the service will improve, as 5G technology is 20 times better than 4G. Moreover, more employment opportunities will be made available to Nigerians.
5G will promote telemedicine, will promote telesurgery. With 5G technology and the advancement in medicine and surgery, we could reach a situation where you stay in Nigeria, a medical doctor or a surgeon from the US or from the UK will be able to conduct surgery on you virtually without coming to Nigeria and do it.
And at the end of it all, the end users will be the major beneficiaries because prices also will significantly reduce and come down. Today, applications that you can download in 10 minutes, you will download it at that time in 1 minute.
What we are going to be seeing going forward
we're going to be witnessing more cybercrimes because this 5G opens an avenue for our homes, for instance, to be more connected.
Guests also say that implementation of the national policy on 5G technology will also promote security and open more opportunities for businesses to thrive. They, however, noted that for Nigerians to fully harness the potentials inherent in 5G technology, there is need for government to create an enabling environment. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
In November this year, world leaders will converge on Glasgow to make concrete commitments to reduce carbon emissions and impacts of climate change. West African negotiators to the climate conference are therefore aligning the region's unique perspectives to gain favorable outcomes, especially in the areas of carbon markets and climate financing. Onange Fineface reports.
Article 6 of the Paris Agreement supports international cooperation towards the attainment of nationally determined contributions to promote mitigation and adaptation ambition, enhance public and private sector participation, and enable coordination across instruments.
One of the opportunity can be the carbon market mechanism and also the climate finance. But this is very complex for our country to get advantage of this because of lack of capacities, because of complexity of rules, modalities and procedures. That's why we are here to build our capacities.
Gathered in this hall are heads of delegation and negotiators formulating regional position to build the capacity of West African states to mitigate and adapt to climate change ahead of COP26 in Glasgow.
It is of great importance that West African negotiators come together and understand the pertinent issues, especially as it affects our region.
We are expecting to enhance capacity of the heads of delegations and members on topics that will be discussed during the negotiation during the COP26 in Glasgow.
The West African Alliance on Carbon Markets and Climate Finance also fosters consultation between the African Group of Negotiators, least developed countries, and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. In Abuja, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
World Ozone Day, celebrated on the 16th of September, is designated as a reminder for people to... Let's now go back to Kainde in Lagos for more on Nationwide. Hello, Kainde.
Hello, Ifama. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. The world has made progress in checking the damage to the ozone layer by harmful gases. This success is as a result of impacts made by the Montreal Protocol. As the world marks International Day for the Preservation of Ozone Layer, environment correspondent Jennifer Igwe highlights impact of the Montreal Protocol on substance that depletes the ozone layer.
Is a shield of gas that helps protect humans from intense rays of the sun. In 1974, scientists discovered that the ozone layer was depleting, and largely as a result of man-made activities and substances from products we use on a daily basis. Top on the list of gases causing the havoc was chlorofluorocarbon, CFC. At the time, CFCs were commonly used for aerosol sprays and as coolants in many refrigerators. To address these global threats, nations around the world came together to map out series of actions to save the ozone layer. And in 1985, the Montreal Protocol came into existence.
Entire nations of the world also agreed to eliminate these ozone layer depleting substances. Industry was assisted, training was provided, alternative technologies were provided. Even some of our local engineers designed some of this equipment.
The Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer is regarded as the most successful environmental agreement to date.
When we also consider the healing of the ozone layer itself, the holes in the ozone layer, they are healing, they are closing up. they are not increasing at the. So this is, I would say, it's a very, very good example of how the entire globe can fight a scourge and heal the scourge.
The theme for the 2021 International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer is Montreal Protocol, Keeping Our Food and Vaccines Cool. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
A comprehensive and robust legislative framework on the beneficial ownership register has been described as panacea in the fight against corruption and money laundering in Nigeria. Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Awa Musa, stated this at a media briefing on anti-corruption potentials of the beneficial ownership register in Lagos. Ruth Areya-Samo reports.
Beneficial owners are individuals who directly or indirectly own or control 25% or more of a corporation or an entity other than corporation. Nigeria is said to be among countries in the world taking bold steps towards the use of public beneficial ownership register as a critical policy-making tool in the fight against corruption. To this end, Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Ibrahim Musa, told newsmen that the establishment of such a center will assist in tracking monies linked to tax evasion, corruption, drug trafficking, money laundering, and terrorism financing.
It is important that as government is determined to fight corruption, that we have the identity of many companies, especially in the oil and gas sector, and other, construction, companies, as well as many other, sector that they establish in order just to change the country economically.
The Corporate Affairs Commission, saddled with the responsibility of companies' registration, believes that the implementation and enforcement of the beneficial ownership register will to a large extent halt criminal activities in the registration of companies.
We are taking the register to the next level where we'll make it in open data format that will allow you to query the register to aggregate to know if somebody is a multiple beneficial owner in different companies.
Government is therefore making plans to raise awareness about the register and train people to use it. It is expected that the move will discourage people from presenting anonymous companies in Lagos. Ruth Areya-Samo, NTA News.
That's a contribution from Lagos. We'll take a short break now. Nationwide continues with Fatima in Makurdi shortly.
Hello and welcome to Makurdi. Governor Samuel Otom has told political appointees in his cabinet that are vying for elective positions to resign on or before the end of this month or face outright sack. The governor also advised them to brace for teamwork for the overall success of governance in the state. This was during the meeting convened at the instance of the governor at the Government House, Makurdi, where Charles Abba reports.
The meeting has the Deputy Governor, Benson Abono, the Chief of Staff, Samuel Obunde, Secretary to the State Government, Anthony Ijoho, SAN, Commissioners, Special Advisors, Principal Special Advisors, and Heads of State Ministries, Departments, Agencies, and Parastatals in attendance. Governor Samuel Otom, who re-emphasized his resolve to sack any political appointees that failed to resign on or before September 30, 2021, said he would not support any aspirant but allow the people to decide at free, credible, and fair elections.
So if you pray that you're okay, that God is with you, God is working with you, it is important that you resign before or on the 30th of September.
The governor also emphasized the socio-economic, political, and security situation in the state and Nigeria, and emphasized teamwork as critical approach in achieving success in governance.
There is division of labor. There is a trinity. God Almighty, God the the Son, God, the Holy Spirit. And all of them operate together for the overall success. And from the beginning, he said that let us make man in our own image. So he was referring to the God, the Son, God, the Holy Spirit. So it's a teamwork. And that is what is distributed here.
The Deputy Governor, Benson Abono, who corroborated the governor's submission, indicated that information dissemination is also key in every administration. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Over 70,000 persons have so far received jabs for the second phase of COVID-19 vaccination in Benue State. Correspondent Sandra Dowese Akeme reports that this is out of the over 102,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines received in the state. The second phase of COVID-19 vaccination, which commenced in Benue State on the 17th of August, has recorded tremendous turnout of persons for the vaccinations across the 83 vaccination locations in the state. A visit to the vaccination centers located in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, reveals a large number of persons queuing up for their turn of the first jab of the Moderna vaccination, while some were receiving the second dose of the AstraZeneca as the exercise rounded off on Wednesday.
I would never support any human being who says the vaccine is fake. And I'm happy that I have taken my first dose.
My family is here. I've brought even my last daughter. Look at her there. So we are all going to take it now.
It's only few people that are enlightened on it. They don't know what the vaccination means.
Individually, people have to encourage us. The government also have to motivate in some quarters.
State Immunization Officer Peter Moses has again advised members of the public who are 18 years and above and failed to come out for the second phase of the vaccination to take advantage of the next phase, which will be announced in due course.
If you don't take it, you will not protect yourself. But the adult who has taken it will be safe. So we cannot force people, but we are begging them the importance of taking the vaccines. If it becomes necessary, because this is a pandemic, it's affecting the whole world. So if the federal government will say it is compulsory for each and every person to take the vaccine, fine and good.
A minimum of 3 permanent vaccination sites have been designated across the 23 local government areas of Benue State for the process. In Makurdi, Sandra Dowese Akeme, NTA News. And that report concludes our contribution from Makurdi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ifoma.
Thank you very much, Fatima. 16 out of the 17 southern Nigerian governors met in Enugu to review the state of the nation and the way forward. Beyond their support for the collection of VAT being within the powers of the state government, the governors also reiterated their earlier position that the next president of Nigeria come from the south. The meeting agreed to encourage full operationalization of already agreed regional security outfits, which will share intelligence and collaborate to ensure security of the zone. The forum, among others, encouraged states yet to pass the anti-grazing law to do so. They reaffirmed their earlier commitment to fiscal federalism as resolved at the inaugural meeting in Asaba. Next meeting in November is to hold in Rivers State. Coalition of Societies for the Rights of the Older Persons in Nigeria says the commitment shown to the welfare of the elderly by President Muhammadu Buhari has set him miles ahead of others. At the first National General Assembly to elect their new leaders, the society is optimistic that subsequent administrations will build on the already existing legacies. David Ire reports.
Since inception of the coalition 6 years ago, the target has been to get the government more involved in the welfare of the elderly. The present administration has not only secured the necessary laws for their operation, it has also set up the Senior Citizen Center to cater for their well-being. The president of the coalition, who is re-elected, alongside other officials, want other elderly persons to key into their activities.
The older persons in the rural areas are also the ones who are suffering most. And that is why our advocacy is not only for the ones in the cities. Our advocacy is for those in the rural areas. That's why we're looking at primary and secondary health insurance for all. That's why we're advocating, for geriatric care for all.
The way you treat the elderly, that is what will further inspire those who are coming, the youth and the younger generation, to know that when they are old, when they have served their country well, people will also give them due regard.
Things have started, and I think we need to support the Director General so that she can be able to do her work.
The newly elected national executive officers were inaugurated for a tenure of 3 years. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
And Ubehi is standing by in our Benin studios for more on Nationwide.
Hello, Ifoma. Many thanks for joining us in Benin. As the clamor for diversification of the nation's economy continues to get attention, the federal government is increasing its investment in agriculture for food sustainability. This time, it is distributing sesame and cashew seedlings to farmers in Edo State through the Federation of Agriculture Commodity Association of Nigeria, FACAN. Victor Odio Ashan reports.
Since the inception of the present administration, emphasis has been on agriculture as a way of shielding the economic burden placed on the oil and gas sector. This new narrative is already yielding results, as Nigeria's agricultural exports stood at 127.2 billion naira in the first quarter of this year, which represents 128% increase from the 55.8 billion naira recorded in the last quarter of 2020. With the distribution of these sesame seeds, fermented cocoa beans and cashew nuts across the 3 senatorial districts of Edo State, the nation is indeed set for better results in the near future.
Our master plan is to make Edo State some of these exportable products. They become producer of these products. They are viable products. We are listed about 7 products, which is cocoa beans, sesame seed, groundnut, soya bean, cashew nut. These are the products we are focusing on now. Every youth should key into these projects.
The farmers see the initiative as the best way to unlock the economic potentials of the rural dwellers.
What we are actually out for is to change the narrative about agriculture, because there is gain in agriculture.
We have been dwelling in ignorance for a very long time, but now through this teaching, our eyes have opened.
The high-yield sesame seedlings begin production in 4 months, while the cashew seedlings are due for harvest in 18 months. Victor Odion Acha, NTA News.
The Benin monarch, Oba Ewa II, has expressed concern about the level and quality of equipment deployed by officers and men of the Nigerian police in addressing security emergencies. The monarch expressed this concern when he received members of the Police Officers' Wives Association, POA, led by their national president, Hajia Ajara Baba Alkali. Gochukuka Ona reports.
Obayawa says, considering the level of insecurity in the country, there is every need to be worried about the sophistication of the equipment the force has in its possession. He also condemned what he terms the unwholesome activities of some police officers and wants them to brace up to the current challenges. The monarch is, however, happy with the police officers' wives for their efforts in boosting the morale of their spouses after the effects of the NSAS protests.
Go around to try and raise the morale of the police, particularly the women, after the effect of SARS. Also to try to empower them is most commendable.
The POA president stated that education, health and welfare of women and officers of the police force have been prioritized by her administration for better performance.
I'm going around to encourage them to make sure that that confidence that has been lost during this era, we give it back to them.
The highlight of the visit was the presentation of gifts to His Royal Majesty on behalf of the queens in the harem. In Benin, Ogochkuka Ona, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. The news continues with Ifoma in Abuja right after this break.
Ahead of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act, the Department of Petroleum Resources is intensifying collaboration with the Petroleum Technology Development Fund to deepen institutional capacities and technological enablers for the growth of the nation's oil and gas sector. This was the crux of a one-day stakeholders meeting between the two agencies in Abuja. Neka Oko reports.
Over 2 decades in the making, the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, has become law and establishes a new reality for Nigeria's oil and gas industry. The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, stands out as the arrowhead with regards to regulating and monitoring oil and gas activities in Nigeria in order to ensure standards, compliance, and best international industry practices. The DPR is taking it further by metamorphosing into a business enabler, thus the belief that collaboration with the PTDF and other key players is critical to realizing its lofty objectives.
This industry requires capacity and skill for value to be created. Without capacity and skill, the industry will never go anywhere.
The two agencies also used the occasion to review successes of past collaborations and agree on a clear mandate of actions to move the industry forward.
Where we're heading to now, our plans are, look, where is the industry heading? What will be the requirements of the industry 5-10 years ahead? And you can only do that if you have access to the plans of the operators of the industry.
The PTDF boss, who is also the chairman implementation committee of the PIA, thereafter presented a gazetted copy of the PIA to his DPR counterpart. In Abuja, Neka Oko, NTA News.
For more reports on Nationwide, let's join Sadia in Sokoto.
Now, Aminu Waziri Tambol has called for proper strengthening of the nation's resources through the introduction of a more workable revenue allocation formula among the three tiers of government in the country. The latter Abdullahi reports that Tambol made the call when he received the zonal officials of the National Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission on a courtesy visit at the Government House, Sokoto.
The zonal officials of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission were in Sokoto on assignment to interact with key stakeholders with regard to revenue sharing issues in the country. For about 2 decades, the revenue sharing formula has not been officially reviewed in the country. Tambol called for not only proper transmission of the Commission's recommendations to the federal government, but also for its apex leadership to effectively push such recommendations until they become actualized. He described the Commission as an important body and urged the members of the Commission to discharge their constitutional responsibilities in the interest of all Nigerians. In another development, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol has appealed to the Federal House of Representatives Committee on Tertiary Institutions to assist in the smooth takeoff of the newly established Federal College of Education, Gidamadi, in Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State. Governor Tambol made the appeal when the members of the committee, alongside supporting staff, paid on him a courtesy call at the government house, Sokoto. According to Tambol, his administration has been investing huge resources in the education and healthcare sectors to further build a more educated and healthy society in the state. The chairman of the Federal House of Representatives Committee on Tertiary Institutions, Dr. Amin Suleiman Goro, said they are in Sokoto in continuation of the oversight tour, which it embarked since January this year. In Sokoto, Dalat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Now, community-based early warning signal system should be used to avert adverse effects of flooding in Nigeria. This is one of the recommendations by the experts at a critical stakeholders meeting organized by National Emergency Management Agency in Sokoto on disaster risk management, implication of 2021 seasonal climate prediction and annual outlook amidst COVID-19. Shehu Muhammad Detti reports.
The 2021 stakeholders meeting on disaster risk management is aimed at creating awareness
among the participants on the possible dangers associated with flooding and how best to mitigate it. Head of Operation, National Emergency Management Agency, Sokoto Office, Aliyu Shehu Kapindangi, said the meeting is part of the proactive measures developed by NEMA towards mitigating the impact of the floods in 2020 and predicted by Nigerian Meteorological Agency and other relevant bodies. He disclosed that Sokoto State is among the states expected to experience flooding, and most of the local government areas are prone to flooding in the 2021 seasonal rainfall prediction. Stakeholders at the meeting underscored the significance of early warning signal in flood preparedness and cautioned people living in flood-prone areas to safeguard themselves against the incident of flooding. There was paper presentation by Emmanuel Wanagero of Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency titled Annual Flooding Outlook, and another paper by Aliyu Shehu Kapindangi focused on seasonal climate prediction and flood is inevitable but preventable.
The annual flood outlook is made to sensitize people on flood that is coming, the disaster that is encompassed with flood. That is just the basic elements of flooding.
We have to sensitize people on the seasonal illnesses and the fire outbreak. Mostly it happens in the market in our home during during Harmattan because of the wind.
The stakeholders at the meeting unanimously advocated for inclusion of the disaster risk prediction into co-decision-making process of government at all levels. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
And that's it from this end. Let's now return to Abuja for more news.
Thank you very much, Sadia. And that concludes Nationwide for today. Do remember to join NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. Thanks for watching.